Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says strong and vibrant India can contribute to stabilization of the world economic order. Chairing virtual Global Investor Roundtable, Prime Minister says India is the place if investors want returns with reliability, demand with democracy, stability with sustainability, and growth with a green approach. Campaigning comes to end for third and final phase of assembly elections in Bihar. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 92.20%. Health Ministry issues new guidelines for international arrivals. Outcome of 2020 US presidential election yet to be decided as results from key states are waited. And in IPL cricket, first qualifier match underway between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals in Dubai. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that a strong and vibrant India can contribute to stabilization of the world economic order. Chairing the virtual Global Investor Roundtable this evening, Mr. Modi said, "We will do whatever it takes to make India the engine of global growth resurgence." He said India is the place if investors want returns with reliability, demand with democracy, stability with sustainability, and growth with a green approach. The Prime Minister said the recent reforms in agriculture opened up new exciting possibilities to partner with the farmers of India. He said with the help of technology and modern processing solutions, India will soon emerge as an agriculture export hub. Mr. Modi said India offers you democracy, demography, demand as well as diversity.
India believes in following the path of growth with equal focus on ESG. India offers you democracy, demography, demand as well as diversity, such as our diversity that you get multiple markets within one market. This comes with multiple pocket size and multiple preferences. This comes with multiple weathers and multiple levels of development.
The Prime Minister said today investors are moving towards companies which have a high environmental, social and governance ESG score. He said India already has systems and companies which rank high on this count. Mr. Modi said India believes in following the path of growth with equal focus on ESG. He said India's quest to become Atmanirbhar is not just a vision but a well-planned economic strategy.
India's quest to become Atmanirbhar is not just a vision but a well-planned economic strategy. A strategy that aims to use the capabilities of our businesses and skills of our workers to make India into a global manufacturing powerhouse.
The Prime Minister said India has shown remarkable resilience in the COVID-19 pandemic, be it fighting the virus or ensuring economic stability.
In this pandemic, be it fighting the virus or ensuring economic stability. This resilience driven by the strength of our systems, support of our people and stability of our policies. It is because of the strength of our systems that we could provide food grains to around 800 million people, money to 420 million people, and free cooking gas to around 80 million families.
Mr. Modi said the world also saw India's true strengths. He said it successfully brought out traits that Indians are known for: a sense of responsibility, a spirit of compassion, national unity, and the spark of innovation. Virtual Global Investor Roundtable (VGIR) was organized by the Ministry of Finance and National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. It is an exclusive dialogue between leading global institutional investors, Indian business leaders, and the highest decision makers from the Government of India and financial market regulators. Union Finance Minister, Union Minister of State for Finance, and other dignitaries were also present on the occasion. The roundtable witnessed participation from 20 of the world's largest pension and sovereign wealth funds, with a total assets under management of about $6 trillion. These global institutional investors represent key regions including the US, Europe, Canada, Korea, Japan, Middle East, Australia and Singapore.
In Bihar, campaigning for the third and final phase of assembly elections closed today. In this phase, 78 assembly constituencies spread over 15 districts of Simhanchal, Kosi, Tirhut and Mithilanchal will go to polls on Saturday. Polling for the by-election on Valmiki-Nagar Lok Sabha seat in West Champaran district will also be held in this phase. In this phase, BJP is contesting 35 seats and its partner Janata Dal united in 37 assembly constituencies. Other constituents, Mukesh Sahni-led Vikashsheel Insan Party VIP has 5 candidates in fray, while former Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi-led Hindustani Awam Morcha is contesting on 1 seat. In the opposition Grand Alliance, RJD is contesting on 46 and Congress on 25 seats. CPI-ML, the ally of RJD, has fielded candidates on 5 seats and CPI is contesting on 1 seat. Lok Janshakti Party LJP has fielded 42 candidates and Upendra Kushwaha-led Rashtriya Lok Samta Party RLSP is contesting on 23 seats. The Bahujan Samaj Party, which is contesting in partnership with 5 political parties, has fielded 19 candidates. In this phase, over 2.35 crore voters will decide the political fate of 1,204 candidates, including 110 female contestants. On the last day, star campaigners and senior leaders of all major political parties held multiple rallies. More from our correspondent.
In the third phase, issues of employment, migrant workers, inflation and education were widely raised by all political parties. Star campaigners of BJP prominently focused on the issue of better COVID management by centre and state government, Ayodhya Ram temple issue and security of country. RJD and Congress raised the impact of lockdown on migrant workers, demonetization and unemployment. Among the prominent candidates, political fate of 12 state ministers including Vijendra Prasad Yadav, Suresh Kumar Sharma, Narendra Narayan Yadav, Bima Bharti will be decided in this phase. 10 times MLA and 77-year-old Ramai Ram is seeking re-election for 11 times from Bochaha Assembly seat from Muzaffarpur district. Bihar Assembly Speaker Vijay Kumar Chaudhary, President of Vikashsheel Insan Party Mukesh Sahni, Senior RJD leader Abdul Bari Siddiqui are also prominent candidates of this phase. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that it is a matter of pride that this time development has been the focus in Bihar Assembly elections. In an open letter to the people of Bihar, Mr. Modi expressed confidence that with the power of double engine of NDA government at the centre and JDU-BJP government in Bihar, the state will achieve new milestones of development in this decade. He said he is committed for the development of Bihar. Prime Minister said Bihar has witnessed development under the NDA government and presented its report card too. He said the people believe that only NDA government can keep the momentum of development going in Bihar. Mr. Modi said NDA government has done a lot of work in Bihar in the areas of electricity, water, road, education and law and order.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah today claimed that BJP will form the next government in West Bengal with 2/3 majority as change is inevitable in the state, which is slated to go for assembly elections in 2021. Addressing the media after garlanding the statue of revolutionary Birsa Munda at Poa Bagan in Bakura district in West Bengal, Shah said the kind of acceptance he saw among the people towards the BJP, change is going to happen in Bengal. One can see the downfall of the present government headed by Mamata Banerjee. BJP will turn West Bengal into Sonar Bangla under the leadership of Narendra Modi. India has slipped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. With the recovery of more than 77 lakh people so far, the national recovery rate is reached at 92.20%. With overall recovery of nearly 77 lakh 12,000 patients, the recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 15 times the number of active cases. Over 55,000 patients recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours, whereas the new confirmed cases reported in the same time span stood at nearly 50,000. The active case load of the country has also fallen below 6.5%. The total positive cases in the country today stands at 5,27,962, which comprises merely 6.31% of the total reported cases. With a high number of COVID patients recovering every day, along with a steadily falling and sustained low mortality rate, India's trend of registering decreasing active cases continues. The Health Ministry said the fatality rate, which stands at 1.49%. It informed that 704 case fatalities were reported in the past 24 hours, of which nearly 75% are concentrated in 10 states and union territories. Meanwhile, the country has crossed another milestone in terms of COVID testing. With nearly 12,10,000 COVID samples tested in the last 24 hours, the cumulative testing figure has reached over 11 crore 42 lakh mark.
Health Ministry has issued new guidelines for international arrivals. Before planning for travel, all travellers should submit self-declaration form on the online portal www.newdelhiairport.in at least 72 hours before the scheduled travel or physically after arrival at the respective health counters. They should also give an undertaking through concerned airlines before they are allowed to undertake the journey that they would abide by the decision of the appropriate government authority to undergo facility or home quarantine or self-monitoring of their health for 14 days. Home quarantine may be permitted for 14 days only for compelling reasons such as pregnancy, death in family, serious illness and parents with children of the age of 10 years or below. Travellers may also seek exemption from institutional quarantine by submitting a negative RT-PCR test report. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today exhorted Delhi government to implement Prime Minister's Jan Andolan successfully to blunt the momentum of COVID by the end of the year. The minister today interacted with Lieutenant Governor of Delhi Anil Baijal, Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Kumar Jain in the presence of senior officials, mayors, municipal commissioners and district magistrates of the city. Comparing the COVID trajectory of Delhi with that of the country, Dr. Harshvardhan said the recovery rate of the country is currently more than 92%, while that of Delhi is 89%. He said against a national case fatality rate of 1.49%, Delhi continues to have a fatality rate of 1.71%. The minister expressed particular concern over the surge in number of cases and the high positivity rate in the north, central, northeast, east, northwest and southeast districts of Delhi.
Kerala reported more recoveries than positive cases today as 6,820 new cases of COVID were confirmed. 7,669 people recovered from the infection today in the state. More in this report.
Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, while addressing the media in Thiruvananthapuram, said that the COVID spread in the state is reducing, but high alert need to be continued and COVID guidelines need to be strictly adhered to. The total active COVID cases in Kerala reduced to 84,087. Over 61,000 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, 26 recent deaths were also confirmed due to COVID today, taking the death toll in the state to 1,613. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The meeting of the Maharashtra State COVID Task Force and the COVID-19 Death Audit Committee was held in Mumbai today. State Health Minister Rajesh Tope reviewed the present corona mortality situation and also discussed the preparation for a possible second wave of coronavirus. Speaking to reporters, Tope said that the second wave of corona is unlikely to occur in the state. However, the administration is leaving no stone unturned and taking all precautionary measures for the same. A report.
Health Minister Rajesh Tope said that although the number of COVID-19 patients in Maharashtra is under control, the number of corona tests will be increased and it has been decided to carry out fever surveillance effectively. Besides, the experts suggested the regional level body to focus on testing of grocery shopkeepers, milk sellers, vegetable sellers, small and large traders, public transport workers who have constant contact with the people across the state. The state would launch a training program in view of the shortage of doctors and nurses in ICUs in small towns. Tope has appealed that the citizens should be more careful in view of the upcoming Diwali festival. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Keeping the festivals and winter season in mind, the Minister for Health and Medical Education, Dr. K. Sudhakar, held a meeting with the COVID Technical Advisory Committee and experts in Bengaluru today. Speaking to the media persons later, he said a decision is taken to establish post-COVID centers and rehabilitation centers in every district hospitals for persons who have recovered from COVID but have other health issues. More from our correspondent.
Dr. K. Sudhakar has informed that it is estimated that 5% of those who had contracted virus and have recovered now may be infected again. Hence, the post-COVID care centers and rehabilitation centers will be established. In another development, the state government has issued guidelines for the Diwali festival. The vendors and customers have to follow the guidelines in shopping centers and cracker sales counters. Necessary clearance from local administration is must to set up kiosks for selling crackers. The shops have been asked to ensure that there is no crowding in their shops and sanitization of shops has been made mandatory. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says strong and vibrant India can contribute to stabilization of the world economic order. Chairing virtual Global Investor Roundtable, Prime Minister says India is the place if investors want returns with reliability, demand with democracy, stability with sustainability and growth with a green approach. Campaigning comes to end for third and final phase of assembly elections in Bihar. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 92.20%. Health Ministry issues new guidelines for international arrivals. Outcome of 2020 US presidential election yet to be decided as results from key states are awaited. And in IPL cricket, first qualifier match underway between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals in Dubai. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Italian counterpart Giuseppe Conte will hold a virtual bilateral summit tomorrow. The Minister of External Affairs said the virtual bilateral summit will give an opportunity to the two leaders to comprehensively review the broad framework of the bilateral relationship and exchange views on major regional and global issues of mutual concern. Several government-to-government and private sector agreements or MOUs are under finalization and will be concluded on this occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated John Pombe Magufuli for being sworn in as the President of Tanzania. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said he is looking forward to working with him to further strengthen the long-standing friendship between the two countries.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be the chief guest at IIT Delhi's 51st annual convocation ceremony on 7th of this month through video conferencing. Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Minister of State for Education Sanjay Dhotre will grace the occasion in person as guests of honor. The convocation will be conducted in a hybrid mode with a physical in-person ceremony with limited attendance in the Institute's Dogra Hall and an online webcast reaching out to all graduating students, their parents, distinguished alumni, invited guests and everyone else. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that India has taken several measures to cut the carbon emission by focusing on renewable energy and increasing the green cover. He said the country has performed tremendously well on all parameters. Addressing the India CEO Forum of Climate Change in New Delhi today, he said India's per capita carbon emission is very low and historically the country has contributed very less in comparison to the developed nations.
We have to be clean for ourselves. We have to limit the pollution. As we know, historically, world is getting lot of emissions over hundreds of years since Industrial Revolution that has caused climate change. And our responsibility in historical emission is just 3%. Even in the present context, our emission load of the world is only 6%. And if we take the per capita load, it is very minuscule of 1.8 tons per annum per capita.
United Nations Industrial Development Organization's UNIDO has been closely working with India to implement UN's activities in harmony with the national policy priorities and development strategies. The UNIDO regional office in New Delhi acts as a focal point to promote UNIDO's mandate of inclusive and sustainable industrial development in India. Talking to AI News, UNIDO representative in New Delhi, Van Barkel Cornelius, has said the regional cluster concept of economic development is playing an important role in India's success story.
The regional cluster concept involves the collaboration between producers, so micro and small producers in a limited geography, in a village, in a cluster, to work together on manufacturing and marketing of a selected set of products. So it might be man-made textile, could be bamboo products, or it could be other leather goods, for example. And this has been a proven concept globally and remains very much valid and effective over the past decades.
In reply to another question, Mr. Cornelius said that India is doing pretty well in the energy environment sector with a lot of innovation.
I think that India is very diverse, of course, and very large. So one can see leaders far ahead and doing very innovative things on energy environment. We still see a lot of scope for what UNIDO is now referring to as this resource efficiency and cleaner production approach, where we say we have to maximize product value creation from each unit of material, water, unit of energy that we use. And if we do that, we have less waste that goes into the environment, less pollution.
Minister for MSME Nitin Gadkari has emphasized upon the need to use bamboo resources in a more intense manner in the country. Inaugurating a virtual bamboo exhibition today at a webinar, he said that bamboo has a variety of use in various fields like buildings and interiors, handicrafts, agarbatti making, garments, biofuel resource, etc. Mr. Gadkari asked various sectors to utilize various modes and methods to bring down logistics cost, including choosing more cost-efficient transit mode like water, rail or road. The minister said using river transport would come very handy in transportation cost reduction for bamboo and bamboo products originating from the northeast.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edapadi Palaniswamy has asked his counterparts Mr. Ashok Gehlot of Rajasthan and Mr. Naveen Patnaik of Odisha to reconsider the decision to ban the sale and bursting of crackers during the Diwali season. More from our correspondent.
India and the Nordic Baltic nations have much in common.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edapadi Palaniswamy has said in his letter that in the states that contributes to over 90% of the firecrackers manufacturing, raw materials with reduced emission level and low decibels are being used. The industry provides direct employment to around 4 lakh people and indirect employment to an equal number, besides the sales network across the country. He has stressed that the state produces mainly green crackers, limiting the impact on the environment. He has underscored that there is no empirical or validated data to demonstrate that the bursting of crackers has any effect on the COVID-19 patients. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Khadi's online sale has brought good fortune for empowered potters this Diwali. Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC had launched online sale of diyas on 8th October this year for the first time, and in less than a month, nearly 10,000 diyas have already been sold online. Huge demand for Khadi's clay diyas was seen from the day one of its launch, and in less than 10 days, designer diyas were completely sold out. MSME Ministry has said KVIC is also offering a discount of 10% on these diyas. KVIC potters have expressed happiness about the popularity of the diyas and the prosperity it brings in their lives. Khadi's designer diyas are available at www.khadiindia.gov.in.
The ongoing farmers' agitation in Punjab has severely affected passenger and goods train services in the state for the past month. As a result, the state is now experiencing a huge crunch of coal, fertilizer, cement and steel, adversely affecting the functioning of the thermal power plants and other industries. A high-level delegation of the central and state-level leaders representing Punjab, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, National General Secretary BJP Tarun Chugh, BJP spokesperson RP Singh and Party State President Ashwani Sharma today met Railways Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi. They apprised him of the dismal situation in the state due to the agitation, which is disrupting normal life and production in farms and industries. The delegation requested Mr. Goyal for restoration of train services in the state as soon as possible. The Minister of Railways has requested the Punjab government to get the rail track and railway properties cleared of the agitators so that the railways can resume both goods and passenger services at the earliest. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said there is a need for more resilient global supply chains. He was virtually addressing the first India-Nordic Baltic conclave. Dr. Jaishankar said India will work with Nordic Baltic countries for a greener, smarter, digital and innovation-led future. He said this partnership can make a difference. The minister said India and the Nordic Baltic nations have much in common.
India and the Nordic Baltic nations have much in common. Our shared values have led to a similar outlook towards global challenges and opportunities. They have also been the basis for a substantial trade and investment relationship, one that has grown even further in recent years.
He said reforms must be added to recovery and resilience by harnessing the lessons learned from the pandemic response to serve the cause of global welfare. India has condemned Pakistan's decision to transfer management and maintenance of Gurdwara Kartarpur Sahib from a body run by Sikh community to a non-Sikh body. The External Affairs Ministry in a statement today said reports have been seen about Pakistan transferring the management and maintenance of the holy Gurdwara Kartarpur Sahib away from Pakistan's Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee to the administrative control of the Evacuee Trust Property Board. The statement said this unilateral decision by Pakistan runs against the spirit of the Kartarpur Sahib corridor as also the religious sentiments of the Sikh community at large.
The counting of votes for the US presidential election is underway. According to CNN, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is leading the race with 253 seats, while incumbent President Donald Trump stands at 213 seats. In the 538-member Electoral College, the winner needs 270 seats to be declared as a winner. Counting of votes are still going on in the states like Pennsylvania, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, which will determine the outcome of the US election.
In the first qualifier of the Indian Premier League cricket, Mumbai Indians were on 145 for 5 in 16.5 overs against Delhi Capitals in Dubai. Earlier, Delhi Capitals have won the toss and elected to field. In the eliminator scheduled to be played in Abu Dhabi tomorrow, Royal Challengers Bangalore will clash with Sunrisers Hyderabad. In the Women's T20 Challenge in Sharjah, Trailblazers beat Velocity by 9 wickets today. Batting first, Velocity were all out for 47 runs in 15.1 overs. In reply, Trailblazers reached the target in 7.5 overs with a loss of just 1 wicket. In tomorrow's fixture, Trailblazers to clash with Supernovas in Sharjah at 7:30 IST.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. In Jammu, sky will be generally clear with minimum temperature of 13 and maximum 29 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in the city will be 1 degree Celsius while the maximum will be around 20 degrees Celsius. In Leh, sky will be partly cloudy. Minimum temperature will be minus 5 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 11 degrees. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky with temperature rising from minus 1 to 24 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the sky will be mainly clear and the temperature will move from 8 to 28 degrees Celsius. The national capital will experience fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. The temperature will hover between 11 and 31 degrees Celsius in New Delhi. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will be 22 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 36 degrees. Chennai is likely to witness thunderstorm with rain. The temperature will hover between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is also expected to have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 11 and 28 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear sky.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says strong and vibrant India can contribute to stabilization of the world economic order. Chairing virtual global investor roundtable, Prime Minister says India is the place of investors want returns with reliability, demand with democracy, stability with sustainability, and growth with a green approach. Campaigning comes to end for the third and final phase of assembly elections in Bihar. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 92.20%. Health Ministry issues new guidelines for international arrivals. Outcome of 2020 US presidential election yet to be decided as results from key states are awaited. And in IPL cricket, first qualifier match underway between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals in Dubai. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.